The Great Pyramid of Khufu here at Giza is the culmination of hundreds of years of trial and error in pyramid building. But it's not only the perfect shape, it's the largest ever built, and it's never surpassed.
It is often said that the Great Pyramid is one of humanity's greatest ancient achievements, being one of the 7 wonders of the world, and rightfully so. This megastructure holds more secrets and wonders that even archaeologists and researchers are struggling to unravel. Could a forgotten civilization have constructed this advanced megastructure long before the Great Flood ever happened? Join us as we dive deep into this mind-boggling discovery, exposing the shocking truths, facts, and myths that challenge our understanding of the pre-Egyptian megastructure built before the Great Flood. Clues in the stones, the evidence of machinery. The first mystery that makes this megastructure stand out is its construction. At first glance, the scattered basalt blocks around the pyramid seem ordinary. However, explorers soon notice the striking uniformity of the grooves etched into them, revealing something much more intriguing. These vertical lines aren't random scratches. Their straight and deliberate patterns resemble saw marks. But how could ancient builders have access to such machinery? Some experts speculate that these grooves are proof of advanced tools, perhaps mechanical saws, capable of precision cutting, something that simple bronze chisels and sand abrasives were incapable of. Another striking thing that caught experts' attention was that basalt was on the site to begin with. This stone is not native to the Giza Plateau, so transporting such heavy material over long distances, let alone cutting it with incredible accuracy, raises questions that archaeology has yet to answer. How did ancient engineers transport these stones without cranes, and how could they achieve such flawless cuts? Considering the saw marks found on various stones around the site, these cuts, measuring between 18 and 4 inches in diameter, suggest the possibility of enormous circular saws machines far more advanced than the rudimentary hand tools archaeologists initially assumed. If these massive saws did exist, it would imply not just sophisticated machinery, but an understanding of geometry, precision engineering, and material science beyond anything available to early civilizations thousands of years ago. The discoveries near the second pyramid take things even further. Along channels leading from the pyramid toward the Sphinx, researchers have found traces of molten granite, a material that requires temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees Celsius to melt. One limestone block has a spiral groove filled with melted granite, marked by vibrant colors as if it had been exposed to extreme heat beyond anything we can imagine. Other areas reveal scorch marks on both granite and limestone, indicating that they were exposed to intense energy. But how could ancient Egyptians generate such high temperatures? The idea that they possessed some form of heat-based technology or an unknown energy source only makes the site more puzzling. Were they using solar concentration, chemical reactions, or something even more mysterious? These questions are yet to be answered. But another shocking feature of the site is the original casing stones, the outermost layer that once encased the entire pyramid in gleaming white limestone. These stones fit together with such precision that even today's engineers struggle to comprehend how they were placed with narrow gaps that a human hair could barely pass between them. This flawless craftsmanship raises the question, were they using techniques that have since been forgotten, or perhaps methods passed down from an even older, unknown civilization? To this day, there are no answers to these questions, leading us to the next mystery. Alignment with Orion's belt. The pyramid's age and engineering have captivated experts for centuries, sparking ongoing debates about their true origins and who really built them. One idea that adds to the confusion about the Great Pyramid's age is its perfect alignment with the 3 stars of Orion's belt. Surprisingly, the last time these pyramids matched up with Orion's belt was about 10,450 years ago, hinting that they could be at least 10,000 years old or even older. This mystery might explain why ancient Egyptian texts don't mention the pyramids or how they were built. Maybe they were around before the famous dynasties of ancient Egypt even began. Many people think the pyramids of Giza are just 3 main structures, but there are actually many smaller pyramids in the area too. Some of these smaller pyramids still have their original shiny outer stones. Plus, there are various shafts and tunnels, like the Osiris shaft, hinting at a vast underground world beneath the Giza Plateau. The Osiris shaft is about 115 feet below the ground and leads to what people call the Tomb of Osiris. Inside this tomb, a giant granite sarcophagus sits in the center of a chamber, surrounded by an artificial water-filled canal. How did the builders keep this canal filled with water? One likely answer is that there's a clever underground water system with chambers and tunnels designed to bring water from a natural spring right into the shaft. The solid bedrock around the area makes it unlikely that water would leak out, which supports the idea of a specially made hidden channel delivering the water. Yet, the real purpose of this underground structure remains a mystery. There are no ladders or known ways to get down into space, leading to questions about how the enormous granite sarcophagi, weighing up to 40 tons each, were placed inside. Plus, the choice to bring these heavy granite boxes underground instead of carving them from the bedrock shows a particular reason related to these objects or the materials they were made from. Interestingly, one of the sarcophagi is made of a rare material called diorite, which has yet to be found in any other known artifacts from ancient Egypt. This material also isn't found anywhere in Africa, which means the builders must have transported the 40-ton diorite sarcophagus from far away, possibly from across the Mediterranean. These mysteries only make sense if the ancient Egyptians had tools far ahead of their time. But did they really possess such advanced technology? Advanced technology in ancient Egypt. Considering what remains at the site today, it seems impossible that the construction was achieved with the tools available at that time. Recent dating methods suggest that the Osiris shaft is over 5,000 years old, dating back to a time before the rise of ancient Egyptian dynasties. Nearby lies another captivating site, the Serapeum of Saqqara, an ancient burial ground close to Cairo. It is famous for its colossal granite boxes, which are believed to be sarcophagi. Each box is carved from a single piece of granite, a rugged rock with some weighing up to 70 tons. The original blocks they came from could weigh around 200 tons. The precision in making these boxes is genuinely remarkable. Their corners are perfectly square, and their flat surfaces are so smooth that they could rival modern machines. One striking feature is the smoothness of the inside surfaces of the boxes, which matches the precision of the outside. The uniform thickness of the walls shows that the builders had sophisticated measuring and cutting techniques not commonly seen in other ancient Egyptian artifacts. Hollowing out these giant granite blocks would have required a deep understanding of stone-cutting methods. The typical tools used by the ancient Egyptians were mostly made of copper, which would need to be stronger to shape such hard stone, with the level of precision seen in the Serapeum. This raises exciting theories that the builders may have had access to advanced technology, possibly including high-speed drills, diamond-tipped tools, or other specialized machinery. If this construction was indeed done using the tools of that time, Why would anyone go to such extraordinary lengths? The mystery of the granite boxes. The purpose of these granite boxes remains a topic of debate. Traditionally, they were thought to be sarcophagi for sacred Apis bulls. However, the box's intricate and precise design seems too elaborate for a simple burial. Some theorists propose that these boxes were used for purposes that needed exact dimensions and smooth surfaces, possibly connected to energy manipulation or scientific processes that modern science has yet to uncover. The granite boxes also have unique sound properties, adding another layer of intrigue. Moving these enormous boxes through the Serapeum's narrow and winding tunnels presents significant challenges, making the transportation and placement of such massive objects a mystery in itself. Moreover, there are no signs of torches or burn marks anywhere in the Serapeum of Saqqara. This absence raises yet another question. What kind of lighting was used to brighten these underground spaces? In contrast to these ideas, mainstream archaeology credits the precision and craftsmanship of the granite boxes to the skill and dedication of ancient workers who refined their stone-cutting methods over many generations. Critics of the advanced technology theory point out that there is no direct archaeological proof of any machinery or tools sophisticated enough to create these boxes in ancient Egypt. Even though the pyramid's construction defies logic, what other aspects of its design still make it difficult to reach a clear conclusion? Yet, clues in stones. It is genuinely baffling that modern architecture still cannot replicate a structure as flawless as the Great Pyramid. Going back to the Great Pyramid of Giza, measurements show that it's the most accurately aligned building on Earth, pointing almost perfectly to the true north with only a tiny error of 3/60th of a degree. In fact, at one point in history, it was perfectly aligned with the North Pole, which shifts over time. Even more incredible is the pyramid's location. It stands at the center of Earth's landmass. The east-west parallel and north-south meridian lines that cover the most land intersect at only 2 points on the planet, one in the ocean and the other right at the Great Pyramid. What's mind-blowing is that this alignment was achieved thousands of years before the compass existed. The builders may have used the stars to map directions with astonishing precision. The ancient Egyptians also deeply understood solstices and equinoxes. On the spring equinox, something amazing happens. The sun sits directly above the Great Pyramid, and for a brief moment, it casts no shadow at all. Another fascinating aspect of the pyramid lies inside the king's chamber, which is made from enormous granite blocks. Granite, known for its density, gives the chamber unique acoustic properties. When someone makes a sound or speaks inside, the chamber's design causes the sound to resonate, echoing with a powerful, almost otherworldly effect. But it's not just about making echoes. The sounds linger and enhance themselves in a way that feels deliberate. Some researchers believe this was no accident. The builders likely selected the materials and dimensions of the chamber with great care to create a specific frequency of resonance. They may have possessed advanced knowledge of sound and how it works. Still then, it raises the possibility that acoustics were an essential part of the pyramid's design, perhaps even serving a practical or spiritual purpose. Brian Forrester demonstrated the reverberations of the king's chamber with acoustic expert Youssef Ahn. The effect is mesmerizing, and it leaves us wondering just how much did the ancient Egyptians really know? Pharaoh's pump. Once again, the theory of an advanced civilization with knowledge comparable to ours resurfaces. In 1962, Edward Kunkel wrote a book called Pharaoh's Pump. where he shared an unusual theory. What if the Great Pyramid was not just a tomb, but a huge water pump? Kunkel imagined that deep inside the pyramid, two pumps were working together. One pump was hidden underground, and the other was located in the upper chambers. Together, they created streams of water that flowed out of the pyramid through openings on its north and south sides. His idea was that this water could be used to help irrigate the dry desert land around it. When Kunkel shared his theory, many Egyptologists thought his idea was far-fetched. They pointed out that to make such a pump work, it would need complicated parts like a vacuum and special valves. However, some engineers, intrigued by Kunkel's vision, began to explore it further. They wondered if a more straightforward version called a ram pump could have been used instead. This device, which uses gravity and only two moving parts, has been around for centuries to move water from one place to another. Excited by this possibility, some researchers sketched out plans showing how the Great Pyramid could have been fed with water from the Western Nile and Lake Moeris, which are both higher up. This would make it easier for the water to flow down to the pyramid. Some even thought that the walls surrounding the pyramid might have acted as a dam to hold water in a nearby reservoir. Building the Great Pyramid took a lot of hard work and determination. It's made of 2.3 million blocks, each weighing between 2.5 and 80 tons. If workers placed 12 blocks every hour without stopping, it would still take 20 years to finish the pyramid. And when we think about how much that would cost today, estimates suggest it could be more than $5 billion. So, why would they build such a grand structure just for a tomb? Even though ancient Egyptian pharaohs had more freedom than modern leaders, they still had to consider money and resources. It makes more sense that this gigantic project served a useful purpose, like providing water to support the people living nearby. If the Great Pyramid was really a water pump, it must have been directing water somewhere essential. Some researchers believe it might have sent water to a place called Zawiat El Arian. This pit, once thought to be the start of another pyramid, was where the water from the Great Pyramid flowed out, helping the land and the people around it. In Zawiat El Arian, archaeologists found a large oval vat made of pink granite that was so shiny it looked like a mirror. This vat was beautifully carved and covered with a layer of lime and a bed of clay, indicating that it held great significance. The vat's unique design and the care taken to protect it suggested that it is related to generating or storing energy. The sides of the vat were lined with a black band, possibly left over from a mysterious liquid used in an unknown operation. In 1905, an archaeologist named Barsanti and his team were digging at the site when a massive storm swept through Egypt, filling the pit at Zawiat El Arian with over 10 feet of water. Miraculously, just a few hours later, the water level dropped suddenly. Barsanti believed this was because the water was seeping down into a hidden chamber below, where he imagined secret rooms were waiting to be discovered. The construction of the site was no small feat. The heavy blocks, tough mortar, and unique patterns made the work incredibly challenging. Barsanti thought the builders went to such great lengths to make the floor blocks immovable because they were hiding something very important. Unfortunately, the job proved too tricky, and Barsanti needed more money before he could solve the mystery. Then came World War I, which shut down archaeological work in Egypt. In 1917, Barsanti sadly passed away at the age of 59. Instead of continuing his work, many Egyptologists forgot about Zawiat El Arian, leaving the secrets buried beneath it undiscovered. In the 1960s, just as interest in the site was rekindled, the Egyptian government restricted access, deepening the intrigue. A military base now stood over the site, blocking any further exploration. Although conclusive evidence was hard to come by, the strange features of Zayat el Orion, along with its closeness to the Great Pyramid, hinted that it might have been part of an advanced energy system in ancient Egypt, something more than just a water pump. Fast forward to early 1999, when a marine engineer named John Cadman found an old book called Pharaoh's Pump in a dusty, used bookstore. As a specialist in hydraulics, the book fascinated him, so he took it home. After reading it closely, Cadman realized that Kunkel's ideas weren't as crazy as they first seemed. Eager to learn more, Cadman did research about the Great Pyramid. He soon discovered that the layout of the pyramid's underground chamber looked like a ram pump. Digging deeper, he found photos showing water damage in the chamber, especially on the ceiling, where signs of cavitation, like tiny bubbles forming in water due to turbulence and damage from pressure waves, were visible. This led Cadman to believe that the subterranean chamber wasn't just capable of working as a water pump, it had worked as one. Determined to test his theory, he decided to build a miniature model of the chamber to see if it would pump water. On his first attempt, he used a nearby river as a reservoir, but the model leaked and cracked. Undeterred, Cadman built another model, but it also failed. Finally, on his fourth try, everything fell into place. To his delight, the pump worked, proving that the Great Pyramid could indeed function as a giant water pump. Cadman felt that the builders of the pyramid must have known exactly what they were doing. This was the evidence supporters of Kunkel's theory had been waiting for. Proof that the Great Pyramid's water pump wasn't just a wild idea. But Cadman's discoveries didn't stop there. They became even more astonishing. After showing that the subterranean chamber could work as a water pump, Cadman built a more extensive model encased in concrete to mimic what might happen underground. He took his 500-pound model to a seasonal creek, using a nearby pond as the water source. As the model began to operate, Cadman was amazed to discover that it was generating a vertical compression wave. This rhythmic thumping sound could be felt 20 feet away and heard over 100 feet away. This revelation stunned Cadman. The pump was not just moving water, it was also creating pulse waves. If the Great Pyramid's underground chamber produced these pulse waves, they could travel through the granite chambers and passageways, potentially generating an electric field. In simple terms, the pulses from the pump could interact with the pyramid's granite to create electricity. Cadman's discovery revived a long-held theory that the Great Pyramid was designed as an electrical generator. While his findings were groundbreaking, the idea wasn't entirely new. It had roots in the early 20th century, particularly with the famous inventor Nikola Tesla. Tesla, who was fascinated by ancient Egypt, studied the pyramids and wrote about their designs, incorporating them into his own work. In 1905, he filed a patent titled Art of Transmitting Electrical Energy Through a Natural Medium, which included a design for what he called Tesla's electromagnetic pyramid. This structure was intended to project energy into the atmosphere, where it could be captured by receivers around the world. Interestingly, Tesla even built a model of his electromagnetic pyramid, known as the Wardenclyffe Tower. This tall structure was topped with a heavy dome made of conductive metal. Sadly, Tesla lost funding before it could prove its capabilities, and the project was abandoned. Despite his struggles, Tesla's ideas about electromagnetic pyramids didn't vanish. Influenced by his work, researchers began to reconsider the Great Pyramid, focusing on its original construction. The pyramid was made of white Tura limestone blocks, known for their insulating properties, and granite-lined tunnels that were excellent conductors of electricity. The pyramid's design, conductive granite channels surrounded by insulating limestone, was similar to modern copper wires wrapped in rubber. Additionally, the Great Pyramid was originally topped with a capstone of gold, one of the best electrical conductors on Earth, much like the metal dome of Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower. If the Great Pyramid was intended to generate electricity, it was designed flawlessly. But if that wasn't the case, what were the builders actually aiming to achieve? Myth or fact? Since the discovery of the Pharaoh pump, one question has lingered. Did the ancient Egyptians truly know how to generate electricity? And if they did, what purpose did they use it for? Well, in 1993, an astonishing find shook the world of archaeology when a hidden chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza was uncovered after being concealed for thousands of years. Dubbed the Queen's Chamber, it seemed intentionally hidden by its builders. Researchers finally got a glimpse inside in 2011 using a small remote camera, revealing an extraordinary sight. Neatly arranged copper wires and symbols painted on the floor that resembled electrical diagrams. These copper wires could carry an electric current, generating a magnetic field. The concept was that this sealed room, with its wiring, could create electromagnetic energy by establishing a potential difference between its walls. This discovery hinted at a purpose far beyond mere burial, a machine designed to harness energy. The intrigue surrounding the pyramid deepened when Christopher Dunn, a mechanical engineer with decades of experience in aerospace, became captivated by its mysteries in the 1970s. While working in the aerospace industry, he dedicated his evenings to studying the pyramid. Over time, Dunn became convinced that it operated as a machine built to extract energy from the Earth. He claimed that the pyramid, with its immense resources and precision in construction, functioned as a machine to harness energy from the Earth. For over 20 years, Dunn immersed himself in research, becoming a recognized expert. He published influential articles and appeared on television, sharing his belief that the pyramid was finely tuned to vibrate with the Earth's frequencies, transforming natural energies into electrical power. In 1998, just before John Cadman conducted groundbreaking experiments that demonstrated the Great Pyramid's electrical capabilities, Dunn released his pivotal book, The Giza Power Plant. In it, he described how the pyramid could harness seismic energy from the Earth, creating electricity in the King's Chamber through hydrogen produced by a reaction in the Queen's Chamber. Dunn's revolutionary ideas ignited a wave of interest, inspiring engineers and scholars worldwide to investigate further. The findings continued to astonish researchers over the next 2 decades, prompting a serious reconsideration of the pyramid's purpose. In 2018, a study published in the Journal of Applied Physics explored the Great Pyramid's response to radio waves. The researchers concluded that the pyramid could indeed concentrate electromagnetic energy within its chambers and beneath its base, confirming the ideas proposed by Dunn and earlier theorists like Tesla. The excitement continued in 2019 with the release of Giza's industrial complex by Egyptologists James Brown and J.J. and Desiree Hurtak. Building on Dunn's research, the authors suggested that the entire Giza Plateau functioned as an energy-generating hub. They theorized that the structures on and below the plateau were designed for a complex process of water splitting, allowing hydrogen to serve as a potent fuel source. They claimed that there was good evidence that the Great Pyramid was a gigantic water processing plant used to create electrified water. This statement gained significant traction and earned accolades, including the New York City Big Book Award. Today, mainstream science is more open than ever to the idea that the Great Pyramid was designed to generate electricity, reigniting a centuries-old debate. But who would go to such lengths to build something like this? Who built the Great Pyramid of Giza? For millennia, many believed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built by Khufu, a powerful pharaoh known for his grand ambitions. This belief has persisted even in the face of speculation that the pyramid might date back an astonishing 10,000 years. Mainstream archaeology, however, pins the construction to around 2580 to 2560 BC, with evidence supported by ancient historians like Herodotus and Diodorus Siculus. Yet, the story doesn't end there. During the Middle Ages, the Great Pyramid became a canvas for even more intriguing tales. Some claimed that other legendary figures, such as Joseph from the Bible, the mighty hunter Nimrod, and the fabled king Saurid ibn Salhuk, had a hand in its creation. In 1837, explorers made an exciting discovery. They found 4 hidden chambers above the king's chamber while digging. These chambers had been sealed for many years and were covered in bright red hieroglyphs. The workers who built the pyramid left messages on the stones, naming their teams and proudly including Khufu's name, saying things like, "The gang of the powerful white crown of Khnum Khufu." Khufu's name appeared many times on the walls, and similar graffiti was found at other sites connected to him. As the 20th century unfolded, even more secrets emerged near the pyramid. Excavations revealed cemeteries, where Khufu's family and high-ranking officials were buried. The East Field, south of the causeway, held the remains of his close relatives, while the West Field contained the graves of his wives, children, and even his mother, Hetepheres I. Archaeologist Hassan explained that it was common for those who served the king during life to be buried nearby because of the Egyptian belief in the afterlife. The burial grounds were expanded until the 6th dynasty, but used less often afterward. The earliest seal impressions belonged to Khufu, while the last ones were of Pipi II. Workers also left their marks on tombstones, like the name Mdw, which referred to Khufu. Some chapels in the tombs even mentioned Khufu or his pyramid. One inscription from Merciank III noted that her mother is the daughter of the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Khufu. Many titles included Khufu's name, showing how important he was. For example, a title for a high official was chief of the settlement and overseer of the pyramid city of Akhet Khufu. In 1936, Hassan discovered a stone near the Great Sphinx that showed the larger pyramids were still connected to Khufu and another king named Khafra during the New Kingdom. The stone described Khufu's sanctuary, proving its lasting significance. Then, in 1954, 2 boat pits were found at the base of the pyramid. One held the famous Khufu ship. Many blocks covering these pits had the name Jedefre, Khufu's eldest son, meaning that he was in charge of Khufu's burial. In 1987, they examined the second boat pit. They uncovered more fascinating graffiti, including the names Khufu and Jedefre, along with various measurements and construction marks. Finally, in 2013, archaeologists discovered the Diary of Merer in Wadi al-Jarf. This ancient document detailed how white limestone blocks were transported to the Great Pyramid, calling it Akhet Khufu. It noted how the stones were received and who was in charge, including Ankaf, Khufu's half-brother and vizier. As it stands, history and archaeology favor Khufu. However, as time passes and more historical and archaeological digs are conducted, we may finally uncover the actual creator and purpose behind this remarkable structure. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.